Good evening and welcome to the City Council meeting for Monday, December 15th, 2025. We will begin with a roll call and determination of quorum.
Lehman. Here. Maher. Here. Roberts. Here. Stroman. Here. Pettigrew. Seacrest. Here. Bieberdorf. Here. Tamang. Here. Evans.
Here.
Meyer. Here. We have a quorum.
Thank you. Next, we'll have an invocation by Pastor David Canan, followed by the Pledge of Allegiance. If you're able and willing, would you please rise?
Let's pray. God, we're so grateful for today, and we're especially grateful for our city, especially during this Christmas time. God, every leader in here needs your wisdom and discernment, so Lord, would you provide it? Whatever needs to be done, may it be done in your name, for your will, for your glory. God, give supply where it's needed. Lord, I just pray that you will speak through this city, that this city will be a light for others and opportunity for people who need it. So, Lord, we surrender this meeting to you. Do what you want done as it's done best. We pray this in Jesus' name. Amen.
Amen. I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. Thank you. Next, we'll entertain a motion to adopt the agenda. Got a motion by Bieberdorf with a second by Evans to adopt. All in favor? Any opposed? Motion carries. Next, we will have a general public comment. This is time for members of the public to discuss or express concerns to the council on any issue not on the agenda. Action will not be taken at the meeting on any issue not on the agenda except by placement on the agenda by unanimous vote of the council members present. So it's 3 minutes per speaker. We have the countdown timer right above here. And I do have a handful of speaker request forms, so we'll get rocking and rolling here. We will begin with Clive Wee, followed by Angelo Schiraldi.
Okay, perfect. Well, good evening, Mayor and Council. It's a privilege to be standing here today. My name is Clive Wee. I'm from the School of Mines. I get to represent our student body as the Vice President of our Student Senate. I'm joined here by Anthony Wright, one of our student senators. Tonight, I just want to say hi. Remind you guys that we are here. We have 2,500 students from all across the globe gathered here to study engineering, study science, and become leaders in the next generation of science. I just came to say hi. That's really it. I hope we can connect more in the future. I know we're working on a couple things that are more outward facing this coming semester, including potentially hosting a kind of open forum kind of deal on the Liberty Land TIF that's coming up. So different things that we hope to engage with you guys on, hoping to be more active this coming semester. So thank you for your service. We appreciate you guys. Take care.
Thank you, Clive.
Merry Christmas.
Merry Christmas to you. And next up, Angelo, followed by Holly Lean.
Yeah, my name's Angelo Schiraldi, and I haven't really paid too much attention to a lot of the minutes and what you guys are having on the agenda tonight. I'm going to speak a little bit about funding. Usually that's always on the agenda, it's funding. So I'm not going to go through where I've been and what I've seen and what I've done in my life, but I will start with this. Texas has no state taxes. Their property taxes are half of what South Dakota is. Tennessee has no state taxes. Their property taxes are half of what South Dakota is. We have a really high tax problem in this state. And I think we need to start looking at some things, some cuts in all directions, in all departments. And I own properties here. I bought properties here a long time. I've been living in South Dakota since the 80s, here and there. And I've seen it go from pretty livable, pretty cheap to live here, and to really expensive. So I'd like to go ahead and propose some cuts. I think all departments maybe need to be looked at, maybe 15-20% shaved off. I mean, me personally, I would probably cut state, local, and federal by a whole bunch more, 50% to start with. Government is a function of the Constitution. Government has set forth parameters. And when government starts becoming purveyor of the winners and losers and picking winners and losers like this TIF, you're going to go down a slippery slope. And then it's no longer government. It starts to become a different function, a function that a lot of people are not happy about. I live on the north side. Some of my properties are up there. I hear sirens all night long. All night long. I can't even sleep. And I'm wondering, well, what's going on? Who's being arrested? What's all these arrests going on? And I talked to some people. And there's not really that much, a lot of it is just kind of just make work. A lot of make work stuff. And you're going to get a lot of people who are just going to start getting not excited about paying half their money to just make work. Government needs to pull back on their reins, and I think we need to be a little bit more efficient. South Dakota used to be really efficient. That's why a lot of people have moved here, because we ran things efficiently, and I think we need to get back to that. You have a good night.
Next up, Holly Lean, followed by D'Amico Rodriguez.
Good evening. Thank you, Mayor and council members. My name is Holly Lean. I'm a Ward 3 member. And I just want to take some time to thank you for all the decisions that you've made this last year to help the future of our city, but also the future of my daughter and her generation. I don't attend all the meetings, but I listen to most of them, and I've been pretty sad about all the anger from a few, because from what I see, most people are very grateful for what you guys are doing to make our city better, and your intentions are good. So I just wanted to take some time tonight to express gratitude before Christmas. Thank you for the investments in parks and recreation upgrades, giving families safe and inclusive spaces to gather and play. Your 2025 Vision Fund projects show a commitment to building a stronger, more vibrant community for decades to come. Your comprehensive growth plan demonstrates foresight in housing and transportation, ensuring our city grows responsibly. I'm especially grateful for your past and continued support of the new sports complex and destination district. These projects will not only create opportunities for families and youth sports, but also bring new energy to our local businesses, helping restaurants, shops, and service providers thrive as a city, attracting more visitors and events. So thank you for thinking beyond you sitting up there and spending so much time vetting a lot of the decisions that you make every week and throughout the 2025, because it's going to help the future of the city, but my child and our community will thrive from it. So thank you, and God bless you all.
Thank you. Next up, D'Amico Rodriguez.
Thank you, Mayor Solomon and council. Again, thank you. An opportunity to thank even the city staff as well ahead of the holiday season. But I'm with Visit Rapid City and the Rapid City Sports Commission, and we want to invite the entire council as well as all of the public to attend a parade of athletes to welcome all players and coaches to Rapid City to kick off the 48th annual Lakota Nations Invitational. This event is 4 p.m. tomorrow at Entrance B at the Monument. Please consider attending. I am also here to speak to the residents of Rapid City. There is a very significant vote on January 20th for Destination District, aka Liberty Land. Liberty Land is not an amusement park. For those that have been to Disney, think about downtown Disney. There are restaurants, shopping, and entertainment that are all free for visitors and Rapid City residents. Liberty Land would be a great sales tax generator, but will also be a huge asset to the indoor sports complex, as it's located right across the street. There is vital infrastructure associated with the Destination TIF that will help the sports complex. The completion of Tisch Boulevard is a part of the TIF and will be a major artery to get in and out of the sports complex. If anyone is unfamiliar with the Tisch Boulevard, I would encourage you to please drive it. It is a one-lane road that dissects two junkyards, and it would be necessary to improve this if we were looking to bring visitors or Rapid City residents to the complex. This is funded by the Destination District TIF. We recently did a community survey about the complex, and one of the most discussed issues was parking. Shared parking with Liberty Land and the sports complex, with Liberty Land being located across the street, would help more money to be used for sports complex amenities. These are examples of infrastructure you will see in the commercials. We're asking the residents of Rapid City to make an informed decision on January 20th. There's a lot of misinformation out there about the two projects, but we would be glad to answer any questions that need to be answered. Rapid City is at an inflection point, and the rest of the state is keeping an eye on this vote. TIFs are the only tools cities that can use to spur development. Let's not take it away. Please support the Destination District TIF on January 20th, and let's support strategic growth. Thank you.
Thank you. That will conclude our time for general public comments. I have other comment forms that are for items later on in the agenda. So now we will move on to the non-public hearing items 1 through 44 and open public comment for items 1 through 41. I have no speaker request forms for those items, so we will close the public comment. Oh, I have you for 42.
Look below 42.
Oh, you got 2 and 1. Okay, my apologies. We have one more general public comment before we move on. James Bialotta.
Thank you. Well, first off, Merry Christmas to all the public. We do have a lot of misinformation going on about the TIFs. First, all the TIF signs have sports complex when it's for Liberty Land. And nobody wants to talk about the real truth is that you guys do have other tools at your disposal. You pay Elevate to be your branch of economic development to bring in new ideas, new development into the area. And let me tell you, you do pick winners and losers because you turned down a $140 million a year ammunition plant that would have brought in 300 annual jobs. How much is Liberty Land going to produce in a year? 140 million? I don't think so. How much is the sports complex going to bring in? 140 million? I don't think so. I know for a fact your civic center is not bringing in 140 million a year. How much did that cost the taxpayers? So let's get to the point. You pick winners and losers. You need to stop. And there's a great way to do this. And it won't hurt the liens at all either. I think you'll like my plan. We're going to end property taxes statewide, and there's a petition to do it right now. Every one of your properties, not just this one. Your properties, your properties, your properties, your properties. Policeman, you got properties? Your properties. Everyone's properties, no property tax. And there's a petition going around statewide right now just to do that. And it won't even cut your funding. You won't need TIFs because we're not going to have property taxes. If you're all for property taxes, go ahead. Tell everybody we're going to do TIFs. And then you tell every homeowner in the face, we're going to have property taxes. And see what they want. I can guarantee you it ain't property taxes. So let's take care of a couple of housekeeping items. We've been talking about dirty cops. And so at this time, I want every public defender and every lawyer in the city of Rapid to hear this. Because you got a cop, a detective by the name of Morgan Slanina, who needs to be on the Brady Giglio list. I reported these problems a year ago, that you got dirty cops lying in police reports, changing stories, witness tampering. And you know what? Marty Jackley threw you on the bus and admitted you're in violation on the 3rd of December. He admitted the state's not in compliance with Brady and Giglio, which is the rules of turning over evidence in crimes, including evidence that the cops did something wrong. So in this case, Morgan Slanina got caught in writing committing perjury before a judge to get a false warrant. And guess who she searched? She searched all my gun shop customers, all my financial information for all time, and for the grand old charge of supposedly trespassing. A complete search warrant for all financial data, every contact, every message for all time. And she lied to get it. Thank you.
All right, that will conclude the general public comment, and we will move on to non-public hearing items 1 through 44 and open public comment. For items 1 through 41, I have no speaker request forms for those items, so we will close the public comment and move on to consent items 1 through 41. Would the council like to remove any item for separate consideration or approve all these items? Councilor Stroman.
Thank you, Mayor. Number 4, please.
Okay. Any other items need to be pulled? Otherwise, I'll entertain a motion to approve items 1 through 41 with the exception of item 4. Okay, we got a motion by Evans with a second by Roberts. All in favor? Any opposed? All right, motion carries. And stand by just a moment. Heidi would like to chime in real quick. Heidi,
I need to remind.
is that a trigger to our finance
Yeah,
department?
Yes.
sorry, yeah.
That was a reminder to our finance department. So we'll go to Director Daniel Ainsley.
Thank you, Mr. Mayor. For item number 21, we did receive 2 payments. It was for the Adams on tax ID 64036. We did receive their payment, and then also Flanagan's, which is tax ID 22520. We'd request that those 2 assessments be removed from item 21.
Okay.
Why don't we just pull 21?
We're going to pull 21. Thank you, John. So we're going to, I appreciate that. John, I need to bring John right over here next to me, be my whisperer over here. So we're going to approve items 1 through 41 with the exception of 4 through 21. We'll revote on that. All in favor?
Aye.
Any opposed? Motion carries. All right, item 4, authorize staff to apply for the 2026 Bridge Improvement Grant funds for structure replacement of the Chapel Lane Bridge and to accept the funds if awarded. With that, we'll go to Councilor Stroman.
Thank you, Mayor. I'd like to move to approve, and if I can get a second, retain the floor.
Okay, we got a motion by Stroman with a second by Lehman. The floor is yours, sir.
Thank you. This is a really important project in Chapel Valley, which is in Ward 3. The bridge there is scheduled for replacement, and I just wanted, I didn't see Director Tice here, but I see our faithful city engineer, Roger Hall. I wonder if I could direct him to give us a brief explanation.
Yes, we have Roger Hall, our city engineer.
All right, thank you, Mayor. Thank you, Councilman Stroman. Very briefly, as you guys recall, back in April, we had a small failure in the deck of the bridge. A piece of it fell out, and we had those repairs conducted. Subsequently, we had our engineers go out and take a look at the bridge, and it is now load rated. This bridge has been on our radar for several years. We have a very extensive bridge inspection program. Every other year, bridges get inspected. This one's been on the program now for yearly, and now it has risen to the level of need that we believe we're going to get a grant for this. It has missed the scoring for several years in a row for obtaining a grant. To give you a brief update on the schedule, we've also met with homeowners out there probably 5 times now. Vicky's been involved in it. Mike Tice has been involved in a couple of the meetings, fire department, emergency services. So we've been very active communicating with the landowners out there. In fact, we sent out 580 letters to the homeowners out there about the bridge. If you'll let me, I'll give you a brief update on the schedule for the bridge. If authorizing this tonight, we're applying for the grant. The deadline for the grant is January 2nd. We have final plans in-house now. We have our final cost estimate in-house. And on January 2nd, we apply. We should hear back in March or April, and we plan on bidding this in late spring, early summer for a late summer start. We expect the construction to last 2 years. The questions we've been getting from the citizens, quite frankly, is the access in and out of the area. It will be 1 lane. We've worked very diligently with the DOT and our traffic engineer to come up with a signal and a signaling plan that will be effective for that. I don't know if I've answered all your questions, Councilman, but
Yes, thank you very much, Roger. I just needed an update so that the people who may be listening or reading about this in the paper know what's going on out there and that we are on top of it. And I appreciate the city's work on that and
Yep.
applying for the grant. I think we're going to need that, obviously, and the bridge is needed too. So thank you. I yield.
Thank you. With that, the motion on the floor is to approve. All in favor?
Aye.
Any opposed? Motion carries. Next, we'll go to item 21, approve resolution number 2025-132, a resolution levying assessment for abatement of nuisances. We did have those 2 payments that were received by the finance office. They had requested that those be acknowledged in that. Okay, we got a motion by Lehman with a second by Roberts to approve as recommended by the finance officer. All in favor? Any opposed? Motion carries. With that, that takes us to the end of the consent items. We will move on to non-consent items 42 through 44 and open public comment for items 42 through 44. I do have a speaker request form for James Bialotta for item 42.
And forgive me if I was wrong, but I wasn't able to read the whole ordinance. I believe this is regarding the water utilities raise of increases. If I'm wrong, correct me now.
It's not that. I don't believe so.
It's the water and sewer.
We'll get the answer. Finance Director Daniel Ainsley.
Thank you, Mr. Mayor. Item number 42 is the first reading of the final supplemental appropriation for the budget. If you want to,
Which I think it
The
includes.
general budget.
Yeah, projects for the water treatment plant and those sort of.
for the
items, right?
water, yes. In total for the water reclamation facility, there's $24 million. Just want to ensure that everyone is aware that is not additional expenses. This project's about a 3 to 4 year time frame, and when we adopted the 2025 budget about 18 months ago, we anticipated that there would be more weather delays in 25 than what actually occurred, and so there are projects ahead of schedule. So there are bills that are coming in sooner than we had anticipated. We have the funding available to make those payments. However, the adopted budget that was adopted 18 months ago did not include those payments. And so half of this supplemental is for that. There is $1 million in grants that we received. There's also $3.6 million for sanitation for the completion of the cell, which is included in that the total construction cost, but it was not actually budgeted for this year. And then there was $18 million worth of construction projects that were constructed by others, funded in TIFs that were certified, and so those costs now, or those assets are now recorded on our books, and so we have to include that. There are some additional operational expenses, but the lion's share of that really are capital projects that just were not budgeted for this year, but the entire projects were.
Mr. Bialotta, that time's not charged against you. We're going to restart your time, but at least you know what that item was.
Yes, thank you. And people see these budgets, and I got to be frank. You see the tune of $50 million. Well, at the same time, we're discussing $250 million TIFs. And people don't care which account they come from. They really don't. They see numbers. They see that we're going to be spending $50 million, and at the same time, we're trying to give away tax incentives that add up to $250 million. And people are like, why did my water rates just go up? Because I think that's on the agenda or just happened as well. And people want to know these answers. And then they want a real answer, not, well, because it's a different account. They see numbers, just like the rest of us. And when you talk about giving away $250 million in tax incentives, or there's a new NGO in town that we're going to help them get started, I'm not against Christian charity, but Christian charity comes from churches, not tax money. And that's where the line needs to be drawn. You are picking taxpayers' money to go to the charities of your choice, not the taxpayers' choice. And so we need to really cut, like the first gentleman was talking today, your budgets and your approvals for giving away the people's money. And just remember, it's the people's money. It's not the city's money. It's not your money. It's the people's money. And I think it's high time everybody remembers that. The people remember, but sometimes the people up there just see dollars and yeses and no votes. And some of these people might not have enough to give for Christian charity right now. Some people are in need of that charity. And you're saying, we're going to raise your water rates. We're going to raise your taxes. We're creating a new TIF zone. We're creating a new property tax district. And you don't think to forget of how that affects some of these people. For the last 3 days, I've been delivering gift baskets to disabled veterans over the age of 80. Have you been to their homes? some of these people need help and you're charging them more. They don't have the ability to give charity. Some of them are in need of charity and you're taxing them out of their house. And it's got to stop. And if anybody doesn't believe me, come on out and deliver packages with me. And if your eyes aren't awakened and you decide to cut your budget, then God bless you, because nothing else will. Thank you.
All right, that'll take us to the, that was the only comment for public comment, so we'll close public comment and move on to items 42, first reading of ordinance number 6701, an ordinance regarding supplemental appropriation 5 for 2025 in the total amount of $50,705,417.30. Excuse me. Got a motion by Lehman with a second by Maher. And Councilor Meyer, the floor is yours, ma'am.
Thank you, Mr. Mayor. I just want to note that I'll be abstaining from this item just due to the payments to Visit Rapid City Main Street Square in the appropriation. Thank
Duly
you.
noted. Thank you. Next up, Councilor Roberts.
Thank you. I just wanted to make a quick comment on this. You know, I've been on the council now for a long time. And every time, this time of year, we have a very large appropriation. And it always happens because we have these big projects that come in and we have to pay them at the end of the year. Sometimes that money, you know, is budgeted the year after, sometimes it's budgeted the year before, sometimes it's, you know, but the money is always budgeted. And it's interesting that, you know, I think the one last year was probably $30 million. And I know that they typically are in that range. And it's very interesting because I've got a lot of calls on this one. But this is nothing that's out of the ordinary. This happens every single year. Every single year. And you can expect it. And again, it's because the larger Rapid City grows, the larger these capital improvement projects are. And the larger this is going to be year over year. So, you know, this is not something uncommon. This is not something that the city or the council is trying to hide. This is just business that happens every single year this time of year. So I just wanted to point that out. Thank you.
Appreciate your experience and also Daniel Ainsley's detailed explanation of that. With that, the motion on the floor is to approve. All in favor? Aye. Any opposed? The motion is approved. Item 43, approve renewal of retail on-off sale wine cider license for Holiday Station Stores LLC, DBA doing business as Circle K, number 27465573 at 2125 Moon Meadows Drive. Okay, we got a motion by Roberts with a second by Lehman to approve. All in favor? Aye. Any opposed? Motion carries. Item 44, approve renewal of retail on-off sale wine and cider license for Mambo Events and Adventures LLC, doing business as Mambo Events and Adventures, 811 Disk Drive, Suite 9. Okay, motion by Roberts, second by Lehman. All in favor? Aye. Any opposed? Motion carries. That takes us to public hearing items 45 through 58. And we will open the public hearing for items 45 through 58. I do have several speaker request forms, primarily for items 45 and 54. So we will begin with Roberta Harmon, followed by Dave Holland. And as a reminder, just like before, you have 3 minutes each. The countdown timer right above me.
Good evening, Mayor and Council. Thanks for listening. I would like to send out a shout out to Mr. Tamang. I follow your social media, and upon your thing about coming out to have something to say, I've come out to have something to say. This is a firsthand conversation that I'm going to have about liquor. I hate it. I hate it. I know it earns a lot of folks a lot of money, but I hate it. I am the friend of Wilmer Kills Warrior, who was an artist. He was a gardener. He was a master panhandler. He was also an alcoholic and an addict who died face down in his own vomit in Sioux Park after many, many attempts of help from all of our programs. I'm the friend of Robert Burns, who I would go with his friends to the Vertex or whatever was at the top of the Alex Johnson on Thursdays after long, hard work in the helps. And I was the one that accompanied him to the hospital when he went out to get a drink in a blizzard and froze his feet, and they tried to save him. I'm also the 8-year-old daughter of an alcoholic, where most of my childhood was spent with chaos and dysfunction and domestic violence. On that note, I will tell you that ease of accessibility makes it much easier for these things to transpire. I know that there's a lot in question about the gas station by Wilson Park, but it could be anywhere. I'm also the friend of the man who, when we knocked on his door and asked for a wellness check, the police officers told us, "We don't smell death yet, give it a week." At which point I told them I will be breaking into his home because I love him and he's my friend. He is now back at his job and sober for the last 6 months to a year. And I'm grateful. It was a hell of a ride across the state to treatment as he threw up the entire time with detoxing. But he made it. So this is a really tough thing because it doesn't matter where they're at. Folks will go to get it. But I think each of these decisions should be made with careful consideration for the folks that we always say that we're out there trying to help. Because if everything we're doing was working, why isn't it working? Why isn't it working? So there's a lot of unhealed trauma, but there's also a lot of programs that benefit from the state of these individuals. Thank you.
Thank you, Roberta. Next up, Dave Holland, followed by Mike Wheeler. Excuse me, it said David Holland. Pardon me, David.
No worries, that's fine. I'll respond to either one. Good evening, Mayor and members of the City Council. My name is David Holland. I've been the president of the West Boulevard Neighborhood Association for a little over 5 years. During that time, I've fielded numerous calls about the shenanigans in Wilson Park, including everything from bloody fights in front of elementary school students to individuals having sex in the park. Our neighborhood association adopted Wilson Park in 2021. We work with Parks and Recreation to plant and tend flowers, make improvements, and keep the park clean. We frequently find liquor bottles, condoms, and syringes in the park. The flowers we've planted are often destroyed by drunken visitors and bathrooms locked to prevent damage by said visitors. We stopped hosting live music in the park a few years ago after the same drunken visitors stumbled into the musician on more than one occasion. We did bring that event back this past summer with the help of Journey On and the police department, but it's sad to me that we have to call the cops before we can host an event in our neighborhood park. Now is the Loaf and Jug to blame for the mess in Wilson Park? Of course not. But what's different is that the Loaf and Jug is the only business selling liquor in the vicinity of the park to not make changes to try to make the situation a little better. You may remember that we objected to the renewal of the Loaf and Jug's liquor license another time back in 2023. But this time, it seems we've made some progress. And for that, I'd like to thank the mayor and the police department for their leadership in bringing Loaf and Jug management to the table. The issue of liquor sales at this Loaf and Jug location exposes once again the significant problem that we have with homelessness in Rapid City. A few months ago, I met a young lady, Alicia Ginsberg, who serves on the Planning Commission and has a wealth of experience developing transitional housing for the homeless. To learn more about the issues, the two of us recently attended Care Campus and Housing Stability Partners of the Black Hills meetings, met with the mayor's office, the Community Planning Department, the Vukirovic Foundation, and half a dozen other individuals and organizations. I learned 3 things from these meetings. First, Rapid City is a caring community. There are many, many organizations doing great work to help those less fortunate in our community. Second, there are gaps in service and communication among these organizations. And third, we need to better educate our community about the issues of poverty and homelessness. I recently served on the Short-Term Rental Advisory Committee, where the city took the lead, formed a committee of proponents and skeptics, provided a facilitator, held public open houses, and developed an ordinance that both sides could support. I'd like to see the city lead a similar effort on the topic of homelessness. Finally, I'd like to close with a few quotes from Mayor Allender back in 2021. Some of these numbers may have changed, but I'm sure they're similar. 65% of calls for service through the police department have to do with homelessness at a cost in police and fire time alone of $15 million annually. He also said, I'm not talking about free food and free lodging and that kind of thing. I'm talking about finding those in the homeless population that can be helped.
Thank you, Mr. Holland.
That will accept treatment, and then bringing them out of that situation and back into the mainstream.
Thank you. Next up, Mike Wheeler, followed by Amy Nonest.
Good evening, Mayor and council members. My name's Mike Wheeler. I'm an attorney here in Rapid City, and I have the privilege tonight of representing the entity that owns and operates the Loaf and Jug on Mount Rushmore Road. Obviously, that's number 45, and it pertains to the renewal application for their liquor license. I wasn't at the last meeting. I did have an opportunity to review it, though, and there was a significant discussion and concerns that were raised by council members, and I'm just going to cut to the quick. I did a letter late last week on Friday in the hopes that it would get circulated. My hope is that the word is out, but if it's not, I can tell you that my client has had discussions with law enforcement. I have specifically talked to Captain Becker, but Captain Becker had provided some information and some suggestions for Loaf and Jug. And what I can tell you that Loaf and Jug is willing to do is this, is that we will agree to adjust the start time for the sale of hard liquor from 7 o'clock to 9 o'clock. We will also cooperate with the police department in putting together, they'll give us information on certain individuals who are misusing the area and causing problems so that those people can be put on a no-sell list. We're willing to do that. And of course, we'll continue to ID everybody who purchases alcohol at that location, which is what we have been doing. My hope is that this will suffice to address the concerns that were raised and that this renewal application can proceed and be approved. I'm going to point out, in addition to what I just stated, is that this is a responsible alcoholic beverage licensee. This is a licensee that is operating a legal business and operating according to the rules, and has done so for many years. There has been no violations that I've been made aware of. If there's been a violation in the last 10 years, nobody's told me about it. Okay? So they're doing it right. And by addressing the concerns that have been raised at the last meeting in an effort to, to address those concerns, I think that shows they're being a responsible citizen, responsible alcoholic beverage licensee, and I'm asking that the council approve the renewal application. I will note that I do have Heather Warren. She's the divisional vice president, and Bill Ostert, he's the district manager, and they're here to answer any questions that the council may have tonight. Thank you.
Thank you. Next up is Amy, followed by Deborah Jensen.
Thank you for allowing me to speak tonight. My name's Amy Nonest. I'm a business owner right next to Loaf and Jug. I'm in the same plaza as Little Caesars. The liquor sales at this location have had an impact on my business, myself, the staff, and the surrounding community. When opening the business over 5 years ago, I remember thinking to myself that the location should be quiet, safe. It's right next to the school, right next to West Boulevard, and I could not have been more wrong. We deal with persistent issues tied directly to alcohol activity around the store, littering of bottles, loitering, panhandling towards clients, staff, myself, public intoxication, and frequent physical altercations outside, and that's just to name a few things. This has been a constant cycle for 5 years. When these individuals panhandle, they then go buy the liquor, return to the area intoxicated. This leads to more fights, more disturbances, more panhandling, more harassment on myself, my customers, and the staff, and ultimately it leads to more police calls. It has become a predictable snowball effect that continues to escalate. As you can imagine, this creates a very uncomfortable and unsafe environment for us in the plaza. While these challenges can be anywhere in the city, the availability of liquor at this location significantly amplifies these problems. Wilson Elementary is just as close to the store as we are. Everything I deal with and see every day, so can the kids and the families at the school. The sidewalk right in front of my business is a popular hangout spot where these large groups of people hang out. This is the same sidewalk in front of the school that the children use to walk to and from school. There are empty bottles, broken glass, and alcohol-related items that are frequently found along the path. Even if the concern for nearby businesses is limited, concern for the safety of the children in this environment should be undeniable. I hope that if there is a reduction in alcohol sales in the area, that there will be a decline in the issues I listed above. Thank you.
Thank you. Next up, Deborah Jensen, followed by Mike Derby.
Good evening, Mayor Solomon and members of the Rapid City Common Council. I'm Deborah Jensen, and I'm here also for item 45. First of all, I want to thank you for your efforts to address the persistent safety concerns that affect Wilson Park, Wilson School, and the nearby surrounding neighborhood. And also a very big thank you to the Rapid City Police Department for always responding to safety. Noting that there were 1,581 calls to Wilson Elementary last year. They were calls for service for the Rapid City Police Department, while there were 429 to General Beadle School, and there were 78 to Robbinsdale last year. Now, I don't have stats for Wilson Park, but we all know many of the sad issues that are going on there. However, since the last council meeting that we had with Loaf and Jug, we have met with the Loaf and Jug management. In fact, the executives, Heather and Cal, came to our Mount Rushmore Road Group meeting this past November, and as business people, we all shared the difficulties that we have as businesses, the concerns that we all have, and they also shared with us some of the things that we know need to be addressed, such as the issue of theft. And they talked about some of the things that they were already doing, the anti-theft measures that they were taking, and also putting in cameras, and that is chain-wide for their establishments, which is great. But they also said that they had been unaware of community-related issues when it came to their property on Mount Rushmore Road, even though I and others through the years have made several attempts to address them and contact them. We all know retail is the engine of the economy. It's so important to Rapid City. It's so important to businesses. And of course, businesses do not want to impact one another negatively. We do not want to affect their profitability. But businesses also must do what is best for their business. I can tell you that businesses on Mount Rushmore Road that sell alcohol currently have been self-aware, and they've also been very proactive in the last several years in establishing their own policy changes, and they have put safety as a priority for their businesses. So what your willingness to spotlight this issue, creating actually the opportunity for the business owners, for the citizens, the shoppers, and the police, and all of the stakeholders, for all of us to work together, we're, I think, finding acceptable ways to protect our community. And so, thank you.
Thank you. The final speaker request form for item 54 is Mike Derby.
Thank you, Mr. Mayor, Council. Merry Christmas. And I'm Mike Derby, State Representative, District 34, and I'm speaking on behalf of item 54, which is the second reading to define and adopt regulations for vacation homes. And very briefly, I had the pleasure of serving on that advisory committee throughout the entire process. And I was on the committee for two reasons. One is my past history in hospitality and lodging that I brought to the table. And also as a state representative, I provided the opportunity that if we needed to change any legislation or statutes, that I'd be a conduit to the legislature to do that. What we found was at the end of the day, we did not have to do that. It was more of an instance of utilizing and enforcing current statutes and regulations that are in place. And so the second reason that I was involved is as a state representative, one of the things I truly enjoy is being a conduit between the state of South Dakota and the city of Rapid City. And so one of the things that I did along with Vicki Fisher was I coordinated a Teams meeting between the Secretary, Magstead of the Department of Health, and Vicki Fisher and her staff, and had a robust conversation on how we're going to move forward to enforce, how the Department of Health is going to work hand in glove with the city of Rapid City. And I won't steal Vicki's thunder. She probably told you the result of that meeting, but I was glad to be a part of that, and I appreciate your support of this issue. Thank you.
Thank you, and thanks for your participation in that. And with that, we will conclude the public hearing and move on to consent public hearing items 45 through 53. Would the council like to remove any items for separate? Okay, we got a motion by Roberts to approve items 45 through 53 with a second by, was that Lehman? All right. Councilor Meyer, you have the floor.
Thank you, Mr. Mayor. I just wanted to comment on 45 as it is my ward. This topic was a pretty hot button topic with the Youth City Council. It was interesting speaking with the students, and honestly, if it was up to them, I don't want to speak on their behalf, but I don't know that they would be approving the permit. A lot of them went to Wilson Elementary School, so that was really helpful perspective. But I think after speaking with some constituents about these changes, people were really receptive and excited and glad that there's some community-oriented mindset happening. So I will be supporting that. I just wanted to comment since it is my ward. Thank you. I yield.
Councilor Tomei.
Thank you, Mr. Mayor. I just wanted to add a little bit of clarity on item number 45 as well. First, I really appreciate Loaf and Jug and the thoughtful approach that they took, and it's absolutely true what Mr. Wheeler said. There's been no violations, and we shouldn't be vilifying businesses, but the correlation is apparent in some vantages. So I appreciate the work that the organization did with the police department to come up with a solution there. I think it's important to frame this as just a safety issue infecting children, which is something that we all care a lot about. And I don't think this one particular fix is going to solve that problem. I think we need to address it more broadly. And I've been discussing with Journey On, I believe Mayor Solomon also has as well. They have a number of programs that they've worked with children in schools, passages, and de-escalation techniques to potentially survey this area to bring another vantage point to bring a solution to this. So that's something that I think we also should approach as a council, and that will require some minor funding. But that's something that I think needs to be addressed as well. And so, and then the last point I want to make on this is I think I'm going to support this, but I think it's important that we pay attention to analytics going forward, because it's really hard to predict what happens with these licenses. The argument regarding changing a license in one location where just a couple blocks down the road they also sell alcohol, what's the effect of that? It's really hard to say until you do it. It's easy to speculate, but until you do it, you really don't know. So I would appreciate, I know Don's, Chief Hedrick, is already thinking in these terms, but I think we need to continue to track analytics to see if calls of service shift or change. And if they do, and you know, these changes to Loaf and Jug have a meaningful difference, then I think we should resort back to an uninhibited license or you know, acknowledge that these changes weren't necessary. So we need to be data driven in that approach. And I think I just appreciate everybody who took the effort to think through this and to kind of not to jump to conclusions, because this sort of forecasting is really hard. And I know several of us will continue to work with Journey On to kind of bring another approach to this, because it really is a public safety issue. And this is a good first step and many more steps to follow. Thank you.
I think this is a unique circumstance, because I can't imagine we would ever approve somebody selling alcohol right next to an elementary school. or any school in the future. So what I appreciate from the representatives from Loaf and Jug is a willingness to shift policy. In particular, I'm grateful that you're not selling alcohol till 9 a.m., which aligns with other businesses in the area. For our part, we will be watching, making sure that we're evaluating Wilson Park. So to Councilor Tamang's point, I would say our folks are always doing a great job trying to make sure that that's a safe area. It's a very visible area. The whole idea is everybody should be safe. The employees of the store should be safe. The schools should be safe. The people in the parks should be safe regardless of their status. So I just want to say I do appreciate that you did take some steps tonight. Sounds like you're going to have the support, but we'll certainly be keeping an eye on that as well and looking at everything that we can do to ensure safety. It should be noted that the things I heard described tonight are unacceptable. And the real problem is obviously people abusing drugs and alcohol and all the behavior that it has. Listening to the business that's in the plaza, that's terrible. It shouldn't be the norm. Should not be the norm. So our folks will continue to work hard to fight that. We know that is a challenge, but I want you to know that everything I heard tonight, we've heard before. We will continue to do our best to address those issues, because regardless of what this liquor license status is tonight, that's a major problem and is unacceptable and will not be normalized. So the direction to law enforcement from me, which they already know, is that we will continue to enforce that. We'll also utilize our park rangers as well, do everything we can to make sure that those who want to do things that are inappropriate are uncomfortable, and those who just want to enjoy it are comfortable. So with that, it's all about a safe community. With that, the motion on the floor is actually to approve all the items 45 through 53 on the consent agenda. All in favor? Aye. Any opposed? All right, motion carries. Non-consent items, public hearing items for 54 through 58. We will go on to item 54, and that is the second reading of ordinance number 6698, an ordinance amending Title 17 to define and adopt regulations for vacation homes. Motion by Maher with a second by Sechrist. All in favor? Any opposed? Motion carries. Oh, did we get a no? One nay from Tamang. 54. Item 55, approve resolution number 2025-128, a resolution for the vacation of section line right-of-way property generally described as being located near Old Folsom Road and Highway 79. Motion by Lehman with a second by Tamang. All in favor? Any opposed? Motion carries. Item 56, second reading of ordinance number 6679, an ordinance amending section 17.06 of the Rapid City Municipal Code. A request by City of Rapid City, okay, that's goofy. A request by Lowry Engineering for MAK Capital LLC for rezoning request from General Commercial District to Light Industrial District for property generally described as being located at 751 East Disk Drive. Motion by Roberts with a second by Tamang. All in favor? Any opposed? Motion carries. Item 57. Second reading of ordinance number 6694, an ordinance amending section 17.06 of the Rapid City Municipal Code, a request by Indigo Design LLC for Weingart Investments LLC for a rezoning request from Heavy Industrial District to General Commercial District for property generally described as being located at 3602 Campbell Street. Motion by Roberts with a second by Evans. All in favor? Any opposed? Motion carries. Item 58, second reading of ordinance number 6699, an ordinance amending section 17.06 of the Rapid City Municipal Code, a request by Advanced Design Engineering and Surveying, Inc. for BH Capital LLC for rezoning request from General Agricultural District to Low Density Residential District 2 for property generally described as being located at the intersection of Valley Drive and Homestead Street. Motion by Roberts with a second by Lehman. All in favor? Any opposed? Motion carried. Next, we have the bill list. With that, we'll start with item 59 and go to Finance Director Daniel Ainsley.
Thank you, Mr. Mayor. The bills for Main Street Square and Visit Rapid City total $251,404.60.
Motion by Lehman, second by Tamang. All in favor? Any opposed? Motion carries with one abstention from Callie Meyer. Oh, Councilor Evans would like to jump in on this item.
Oh, no. It's another comment for after the vote.
Oh, after the vote. Okay, well, we'll get through that. Item 60. Did we do it all in
Yeah.
favor? You interrupted me there, Mr.
Sorry.
Evans. So, all right, item 59 is approved with one abstention for Callie Meyer. Item 60 will go back to Finance Director Daniel Ainsley.
Thank you, Mr. Mayor. The remaining bills total $13,562,260.22.
Motion by Roberts with a second by Evans. All in favor? Any opposed? Motion carries. Before an adjournment, Councilor Evans would like the floor.
I just want to thank the Parks Department for the beautiful decorations they're putting up. I've had several calls about how beautiful the city looks, so keep up the good work. Thank you.
Do we have a motion to adjourn? Okay, we've got a motion by Stroman. We give the second to Tamang. All in favor? Any opposed? We're adjourned. Thanks, everyone.